If your business is doing around 25 to 40K a month, but it still feels really tight, there's a hidden revenue leak inside of your business that you currently don't know about. Most founders think they need actually more leads, but the real problem is usually revenue is leaking through the back of the actual business itself. And if you don't fix this stage properly, growth actually becomes heavier instead of actually easier. So today I'm going to show you exactly where this leak happens and how to actually close it. And just before we get into the video itself, let me give you a quick backstory to this actual video. A consultant used to work with us. He was doing about 32K per month. From outside, everything looked great. Clients were coming in, revenue was growing, and the business looked healthy. But every month, he still felt a lot of pressure. He was working longer hours, cash felt really tight, hiring felt also really risky. So we looked a little bit deeper when he actually jumped on the call, and we found something really interesting with his business. He wasn't struggling with the actual demand as he thought. He was losing 30 to 40% of the potential profit inside delivery and actual operations itself. So once we fixed those leaks, revenue didn't even have to grow that much. Profit actually doubled itself, and the business felt much calmer as well for the first time. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to break down all the numbers you need to know inside of your business in order for you to really understand how to close the leaks currently inside of your business so you can still have above 50% of actual profit margin inside of your business. So let's get through it. So stick to the end of this video, because by the end of this video, you will learn and understand, number one, the hidden revenue leaks most 25 and 40K service businesses have. Number two, why revenue can grow, but profit and stability stay really weak. Number three, the three operational gaps that quietly drain actual revenue. Number four, the financial math behind service business efficiency. And number five, how to identify leaks inside of your own agency or consulting business. And number six, the simple systems that stop revenue from actually escaping. Okay, so why this stage is deceptive. The 25K to 40K stage is really tricky as well. And I have seen this with a lot of founders, specifically a lot of agencies and a lot of consulting, that a lot of revenue that's being made is not actually profitable. The profit margins are really, really small. And in order for this not to happen, you really need to understand what currently is leaking inside of your business. And most of the times, funny enough, speaking to a lot of founders, I understand one thing, that most of them don't understand the numbers behind the actual business operation as well. Okay, so why this stage is deceptive? The 25 to 40K stage is really tricky because it looks like success. You have clients, you have income, and you are not guessing anymore as well. But the business still feels heavy. And here's what founders usually feel at this stage. Busy all the time, delivery pressure increasing, revenue coming in, but profits feel really thin, hard to hire confidently, slight anxiety about the actual cash flow as well. This happens because the business is growing faster than its actual structure as well. And when weak structure is weak, revenue leaks out of the actual, and 40K per month leak revenue in three places. Number one, the leak one is underpriced. Why do you want to charge 3K instead of 5K? Because I have seen offers charging 6 and 7, like what are currently being offered. And obviously I looked at the experience of other businesses that I looked at, and I think like I kind of fit into this actual category of 2 to 3K, okay? But how you should be actually pricing your prices is the actual value you deliver. Because if you focus on the cost, that's when your margins will really start to shrink. Okay, if you focus on the value, you can actually increase your profit margins as well. What do I mean by that? Let's just say I knocked on your door and I said, hey, I have this brand new SKU to give me anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 or even $20,000. And most of you will be like, you know what? I will give you the $5,000 to $20,000 because if I resell that, I can probably 10x my investment, or probably 20x my investment. In most cases, probably even 100x my investment car, and give me $5,000 and you can have the car. Now the question becomes the question of value. What type of car is it? Is it drivable? Is it towed? What's the mileage on it? Like what type of car is it, right? And all these questions, the question of actual value. And so if you create your offer to a place where most of the times I see a lot of agencies and coaches and agency owners deliver a lot of value, But then a relationship coach specifically, to be honest, dealing with divorces for CEOs and business owners, and he's charging per session. And so I said to him, like, why are you charging per session? He's like, hey, that's what, is it not worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for them? And he was like, yeah, obviously it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, in most cases even millions of dollars, sometimes even $500 million, right? Because somebody that's been building their businesses for, let's say, 20, 30 years, have been building their network is close to $1 billion, and then suddenly a divorce comes, right? And that divorce will probably take 50% of the entire net worth with everything else in it. And so for this relationship, and so most of the times they go to relationship coaches, right? Because the man understands, like, hey, if I go divorced, I'm going to lose 50% of my net worth, so I need to make this work, right? And so they would do it. And so I asked him a question. So if you are saving somebody millions and potentially even $500 million, would it not make sense for you to charge that's equal the value of what you're actually saving? And he was like, well, I never thought, right? And still the same, nothing changed, no delivery changed, nothing else changed. The value, that the perceived value of what he was offering was there, and so the price point changing with that also changed. A lot of founders price their services based on what they think the market expects, not based on the actual cost delivery. Example, an agency charges $4,000 per client per month. They have 10 clients, so that means their revenue is $40K per month. Sounds good, but if you look deeper, if the delivery costs you $2,800 to service, profit per client becomes 1.2K. Across 10 clients, that's 12K profit, which means the real margin above 50%, so 50 to 60% gross margin, right? So right away, calculate everything, how much it takes you to service, and let's say it's $3,000, right? So now you have a really short profit. Your profit is only 2K, and so out of that 50K, your profit is only 20K, okay? And so, which means your real margins are below 50, 60%. And this is why your revenue is also leaking. So that's number one. Leak number two is in delivery, okay? So many founders believe they need more clients, but the real problem is the same work is taking too long. For example, a task should take about 3 hours and suddenly starts taking 7 hours. Multiply that across multiple clients a week, and that's a massive hidden cost, okay? This usually happens because processes are not standardized, work is reinvented every single time, communication is really messy, responsibilities are unclear. When delivery becomes inconsistent, margins disappear as well. This is why operational systems really matter. I have seen this personally in a lot of agencies. Is they hire, let's say, a client, and because there's no standardization, there's no documentation inside the business that you can actually train the people you are delegating the tasks to, what ends up happening is a lot of tasks are taking much, much longer because now they need to go through approval of the actual founder. And so what happens is they start to go for approval to the founder, they start asking questions, and now the task itself, the project is taking much longer than it actually should be, okay? And now what happens is it puts a lot of stress as well. And not only stress for each hour, now your costs are actually increasing and your margins are shrinking. So that's really important that you also take a closer look at this as well, okay? So leak number two, heavily on the actual founder. The founder sales, manages clients, reviews work, fixes problems, and leads delivery, okay? Founders, right? And because founders' time is the most expensive resource in the actual company. And most founders in the companies are currently responsible for all of these current tasks, right? They will be selling, managing clients, reviewing work, fixing problems, lead delivery. And not only that, some of them even would be responding and doing communication between actual clients as well, because some clients would be more attached to you than your actual team, right? And so if the founder spends 20 hours a week inside delivery, growth slows dramatically as well. And the target gross margin, 60%, okay? That means delivery should cost only $16,000, okay? Tools and growth investment. If delivery costs creep up to 25K instead of 16, your business suddenly feels much tighter as well. And that's an actual leak, okay? Because a lot of times I see a lot of business owners, they could be investing in marketing, they could be healthy investing in marketing as well, they could be also expanding their operations, but they can't. And the reason you can't is because sometimes you look at like how much do you charge, and they say, hey, I charge $10,000 per client. I got, let's say, 10 clients, I got 100K. 100K should be enough for you to expand, right? But they can, because it costs a lot to actually fulfill those clients. And then it also costs a lot to delegate. And then can invest into marketing, operations, tools, and growth, because your profit margins are not there. And so what happens is that becomes an actual leak inside of your business. So how to identify your revenue leaks currently? Here are 3 simple checks you can actually run. Check 1 is client profitability. Ask yourself, how much profit does each client actually generate to you, right? Many founders don't know these numbers, and that's why they are really struggling and actually growing and scaling their businesses, because they think, I need more leads. But leads currently, so if you charge 5K but delivery costs 3 to 4K, the client may not be worth even scaling. But what ends up happening is, a lot of times I see a lot of founders, they are taking clients without really realizing how much it actually costs them to fulfill that client, okay? Because they're not doing weekly reviews, they're not overlooking, they're not kind of looking at the business from bird's eye view and understanding each number in each actual pocket. And so your profit margin is only 1K per client, right? And that's not really enough for you to actually scale your business. So that's one, right? So how much profit does each client actually generate to you? Check 2, time cracks, right? And time tracking as well, because there's a lot of cracks in the time in which time cracks is because instead of you taking 3 hours to, like, it takes 3 hours for you to really, let's say, do a task, for somebody else it suddenly takes 6 hours. And so what happens is, now it doubles the delivery time as well. And not only delivery time, it also increases the actual billable hours as well, okay? So it's important that you check how long it actually takes tasks. And so let's say you have a person that's currently is, instead of, like, let's say, training in your processes, in your systems, and your standardization. Because what happens is they're not really effective to fulfill them also in 3 hours, which you are, right? And so there's a problem in probably in training in the processes and systems and standardization in the process itself as well. So you should pay really close attention to that as well, okay? So ask yourself, how long does it really take for work to fulfill a client, okay? You quickly will see where delivery becomes insufficient, and even simple tracking tools can reveal major leaks as well. Tools you can use is Toggle, Harvest, or Clockify, okay? Then check number 3, pro standardization. Ask yourself, do we deliver the same service differently every time? If yes, the business is leaking time and money, okay? Standard processes reduce the actual leak. So a lot of coaches, this would be a lot of coaching businesses. I know a lot of agencies also do it, but a lot of consultants and coaches do this, is that every client would be completely differently delivered, okay? They would have different type of sessions, different hours, and they say, well, I only spent like 30 minutes more on this call because I need to feel. No, a standardization means we are spending exactly the same amount of time with each actual client. So when the clock hits 1 hour, we are off, okay? The reason delivery is also messy probably, right? And so it takes more time, and clients start to take more time from you. For this not to happen, everything has to become standardized, right? You need to standardize the processes to reduce actual leaks inside of your business, okay? And I would say the standardization part of the delivery is probably the big one for every business out there. So the systems that fix the actual leaks. So there are 3 simple systems that will fix this stage. System 1 is delivery templates. Create repeat. We have discovery, strategy, execution, and then review. Each stage has clear actual tasks, okay? Right? So revenue per client, hours spent, and then profit margin as well, okay? It's really important to know these numbers, because these numbers will also show how healthy is your business and how profitable is your business. And tools you can use for this, and let's say you don't even need to spend money on tools necessarily. You can just use a simple Google Sheet, okay? Google Sheet, if you want a little bit more kind of advanced, where the founder spends time. Most founders discover 30-40% of their time is spent on tasks someone else could actually doing that you could easily, simply delegate to somebody else to do it, which will give you a massive time leverage inside of your business that could be used to actually scale your business, okay? So what this stage should feel like. At 25 to 40K, the business should start feeling structured, measurable, and predictable. It should not feel chaotic. You should not feel like, hey, you're running out of hours every single day. If it still feels chaotic and it's like you are saying, hey, I wish there's more hours in a day, the problem is not demand. Because most of the times when we look at like, hey, the profits is not there, I can't scale the marketing, I can't do this, I can't run ads with the bigger budgets, I need more leads to come in because if I close more leads, I get more money in, right? That's not a problem. Currently, it's an actual structure problem, okay? The reason it feels chaotic is not because of demand, it's because of your structures. So once these leaks are all fixed, something interesting happens. Growth becomes much lighter as well because now you're not leaking money anymore, okay? More clients don't create more stress, they actually create leverage because your profits are really high as well. And with higher profits and with healthy profit margins inside of your business, you can then scale as well. Understand this, revenue leaks are invisible at first. You only will notice them when the growth starts to feel really heavy. But the situation is this. Every founder must understand that in order for you to understand where leaks are coming from, you need to audit your business. Most of the times I see most founders, they don't even audit their businesses. They just keep going with the paradigm of thinking, well, I need more leads because more leads will give me more money, and more money I can then start hiring. And so what ends up happening is let's say you hire somebody. Now the problem is also they can't be delegated to do the task because they're not trained. And so what happens is, because you don't have process, systemization, standardization, now your people that you hire are leaking money for you as well, okay? For this not to happen, you should really first audit your entire business, okay? But the solution isn't always more clients, okay? Sometimes the real solution is closing the leaks inside of your business you already have built for yourself. Because once those leaks are fixed, the same business can suddenly produce much more profit, stability, and actual freedom for you, okay? So if this helped you to understand business much better, if this helped you to understand numbers much better inside of your business, I want you to subscribe to my channel. This channel is built for coaches, consultants, and service businesses who want to really scale from anywhere between 10, 20, all the way to 100K per month using real actual systems, because everything I will give you is based on my own experience. I have sold businesses, I have won businesses, lost businesses, failed more times than I actually can count. And everything's coming from a personal experience. So everything you will receive on this channel is 100% organic. I have never used shortcuts in my life, because when I try to do them, I really pay the price. Everything you will receive is 100% knowledge, okay? And in the next video, I will actually show you how to build simple operational systems that remove these leaks completely from your actual business. If you have anything else you want to add to this video, or maybe you want any more clarity, comment down below. I will make sure that I reply, or maybe create even a content about the thing you need help the most. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. You're going to help me with the algorithm, and I will make more awesome content like this for your business so you can scale.